Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to the Creabea Knitting Podcast. Hello and welcome, my name's Rebecca. I am a knitter and knitwear designer based in Edinburgh in Scotland, and this is like a vlog or a podcast all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I have been knitting on and what I would like to cast on in the not too distant future. And it's been 3 weeks. I meant to film last week and we went to London on Friday and I just was busy prepping for it, so I didn't get a chance to film, and as a result I have an obscene amount of knitting to share. So much of everything. I've got 3 finished objects, 7 works in progress, and a whole load of acquisitions because I also went to a yarn festival. So yeah, loads. I hope you're ready, I hope you're prepared. And yeah, a few other bits to share, I guess, as we go. So I hope you're looking forward to it. It is a surprisingly sunny afternoon here, late afternoon here in Edinburgh, and it's nice. It's been like a cold dip this week, so it's nice for a little bit of brightness. So let's start with the first thing, which is what I'm wearing because it is my first finished object. So this is my Daft Days cardigan. It is a top down. I'm going to stand up a little bit and show you. It is a, no, it's top down, it's bottom up, so I'm just lying from the get-go. It is a bottom up cardigan with drop shoulders. There we go, that's a good angle. And it has this nice like chunky round neck, these like really quite drop shoulders, like it's quite a heavy drop. It's pretty oversized. It's got about 13 centimetres, no more than that, it'd be 15 centimetres of positive ease. And I knit this up in the SADvent, which is the January Advent of 2023 from Charlotte, who is Nervus Fiber. I used 14 colours of mini skeins, held double, so they were 20 gram minis and I held them double, and one main colour which I used Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool in the colour Marzipan. This is an Advent pattern, so Daft Days is the traditional old Scots term for the days between Christmas Day and Twelfth Night? Yeah, Twelfth Night. So it's kind of meant to like count down to that festive period, and it will come out I think late November for a December release. I love this cardigan. I did not think I would love this cardigan as much as I do. I love it. I think I love the fit. It's way more oversized than I planned, and that is primarily because my gauge was off, but also partially because I cast this on ages ago. So long ago, like before summer. I made myself stop working on it to get some stuff ready for earlier in the autumn. And I've lost some weight this year. So it just ended up like if I was to cast it on in the same way now, I probably would have gone with less stitches. However, I love the boxy fit. I really like it. I don't have very much that fits like this. The arms are also like a bit more fitted, so the arms aren't quite as boxy as the body is, and I like that a lot. There will be instructions in the pattern if you want a more traditional fit and you don't want it as much ease but you want the sleeve to fit. So if that's not really your thing, and you want a more like classic fitted cardigan, I got you. But I love the fit of this, and I love the big like round cozy neck. I quite like buttoning it all the way up. I can wear this, the neck is like round enough that I can wear a t-shirt. I'm just wearing like a camisole, but I can wear a t-shirt and it covers the neckline, which I quite like. So I could wear it like all the way buttoned up and like tucked in, which I all think is so cute. Yeah, it's quite hefty. It's got quite a lot of weight to it. There's quite a lot of yarn in this. I've not weighed it yet. But it feels quite nice for this weather, almost like a jacket as opposed to like a cardigan. But I mean, it must be maybe 17, 18 degrees indoors right now, and I am not too warm wearing it. So I love it. I absolutely love it. I've got a second sample planned because of course I do. And my second sample is going to be black and white with gold buttons, and I'm so looking forward to it. And I might do something interesting with it. I've actually asked my wonderful sample knitter for the Leith cardigan to make a sample. Sorry, I've got like random hiccups. Where did they come from? I never get this until I sit down to record, and then I get these random hiccups. With black and white. So black and white and gold buttons, which I think is going to look very chic. And I was going to change this up and put an I-cord edging instead of it, but I think it's just too much hassle. If it was I-cord edging, the neckline would be too really wide because I wouldn't get this chunky neckline, if that makes sense. So I'd have to change the stitch counts for the neckline and have to change the stitch counts to the buttons, and I could do that, but I think it'll make the pattern confusing. So I think I'll just do a black and white one with big like golden, I think they're called shank buttons. I think that's when there's like the button cap and then like a bit at the bottom and then the hole is here. I don't know. I think they're called shank buttons. So like some ornate gold ones I think will look very cool. Very on trend. So yeah, that's the Daft Days cardigan. I marathon knit this to get it finished to go to the Scottish Yarn Festival, and then it was 26 degrees and I didn't get to wear it and I was gutted. But I was glad I finished it, because I think if I hadn't had the deadline, like it might have languished a little bit. So I was glad to have that. The sleeves felt like they took forever. The body was no time. I thought the sleeves would fly because there's no purling, and it still felt like they took so long. But yeah, the sleeves, I was like, I have to get them finished, I have to get them finished. And I did. And then I took it and like presented it like a school project to Charlotte, who is the dyer, and I was like, look what I made. She was like, oh my god. So I was so pleased to have it, even if I couldn't wear it around. And yeah, it feels like kind of like adult rainbow, like grown up rainbow, or like Molly Weasley from, you know, like Burrow core. So yeah, here's a close up of the colours. So good. I just love it so much. It's a knit and slip stitch pattern, so it kind of makes for these like broken stripes rather than just like a classic stripe, which I love. So the test call is live for this pattern. It will be down below if you want to sign up to test it. I think there should be 8.5 weeks on the test, potentially 9 weeks. I can't actually remember, but it should be a minimum 8 weeks of the test. My plan is to release it late November, but I might wait and see how we're getting closer to the time. I don't really know when patterns for Advent release. And if you look back on Ravelry for like other Advent patterns, it just gives you a month and not like a date. So my goal is late November, but it might be, yeah, probably will still be late November. I guess, provided I give the sizing and all the yardages before, like nobody needs the pattern massively ahead of time for Advent. So yeah, and that'll give testers as much time as possible to knit it. Yeah, and then with the test, it can be anything. So if you want to use mini skeins, you can use mini skeins. If you want to just use like 2 colours or 3 colours or 10 colours and like vary, like change them, you can. And I also did a swatch on a completely wrong gauge, but I was interested to know what happens if you take out the main colour and just fade the minis. And it looks so cool too. So that is, I believe, there's 5 minis. So there's like a purple, there's this like green one, there's a grey, and there's a pale green, and there's this like pickle green. And you could get this, you could get like a pure fade without having to do, you could get a pure fade without doing the main colour if you just wanted to fade it, or if you've got loads of minis. And I think anyone, like I say, 14 and a size 120cm finished chest, I have like tiny amount left of some of my colours. There's the colour I started with, which is this green here, repeats the most. So there's one in the body, about the bottom, one here, and then a sleeve stripe. And so like that was 1, 2, I used it 4 times, and that one was like the limit of how much of that yarn I had left. So yeah, 14 stripes is a bit, like 14 colours was fine, like it was fine, it was completely okay. But yeah, just interesting to know how far the yarn went. And then some of the colours I've got a few little bits left off, so I might make a pair of socks. So yeah, the test call's open. I'm rambling now. The test call's open, it's down below. The pattern is not finalised with the tech edit, but I do have the sizes, so there is a possibility the sizes will slightly change. But I will let everyone in the test net know what the new sizes are in case they want to change the sizes by the time before the test starts. But that way at least I can get the test call out for a couple of days while the tech edit's wrapping up, and people can start swatching and stuff. I usually find that like there's very rarely people who are really ready to go and cast on like the day you find out, like the day of they find out the test. But that way at least people can swatch, and then hopefully it won't be too long until the pattern test starts. Very exciting. I feel like I'm not ready to go with another test knit. I've got 3 running right now. So I will have, yeah, this one will start before Alder wraps up. So I will have 4 test knits running at once, which is a lot of test knits to run at once. But Alder's almost done, so that'll finish up as that one starts. I'm actually going to go, before I go into my other FOs, and tell you about another whip. And that's because, as well as this pattern, there will also be a shawl pattern coming out for Advent. And I should have actually said, these are going to be charity patterns. So 100% of the proceeds of the pattern, probably through until the end of December, will go to the Fistula Foundation. It's an organisation I donated pattern sales to last year. And I'll talk more about the organisation like closer to pattern launch. But yeah, just something good to know, I guess. I like the idea of doing maybe like an annual pattern sale where the proceeds go to charity. It feels like a way for me to be able to donate my time without, you know, and still make a difference, which is really lovely, I think. Maybe you don't think, but I think it is. I've just knocked stitches off this. And I originally had plans to bring the shawl pattern that I'm about to show you out for the test knit at the same time as the cardigan. However, I realised I don't have final yardages, so I can't do that until I know what the final yardage is, which I do not have yet. So yeah, I blocked it this week and everything to be able to gauge swatch to do it. But I don't have enough. I'm not finished yet. I still have to do like 4 more stripes or something on the border. And until I've done that, I can't tell you how much yarn it used. And that's not really fair to do for testers. So that's kind of annoying. But I'm a bit annoyed with myself because I thought I was ahead of the game and I'm not ahead of the game. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of speed knitting on this one to hopefully get it ready for the next test knit. But it's less yardage than, it's not going to be as much yardage as a cardigan, so I don't mind giving a little bit, probably like 6 weeks on that one instead of 8 weeks. So this is the shawl version. It's way too big for the needles now, and actually it's annoying because I took it off the needles to block it and I only put it back on last night, and I should have just left it off so I could show it on the podcast. But anyway, this is where it starts, and I'm using this beautiful colour palette. I will say, I think that the white has taken a little bit of colour from the blocking. It's just got a little bit more muted. It is a real quite bright white in the skein, but I think it's just potentially dulled a little bit with washing, but honestly I don't mind. I don't mind at all. It's not like super obvious colour bleeding, it's not like it's dyed patches of the yarn, it's just maybe taken its brightness away, and that's fine by me. So yeah, so for this one, again, you could do this as an Advent, and I have an Advent coming, and my intention is to knit this up with an Advent, but I've done it with 4 colours. Oh, the drape on this is stunning. I just took it off the blocking mats yesterday and I've not really touched it, and it's so nice. I don't knit anything a fingering weight, so when I do it's quite exciting. So in this one I've used 4 colours. The main colour is my white. This is my second 50-gram ball that I've like gotten a little ways into, but not so far. And I have 3 3 contrast colours. This like dusty pink, this sort of like, you know what colour to call it, like this like chocolate red, and then like a blue black grey kind of colour. I love this colour palette, and it's interesting that I am not bored of this because, like I say, it is an Oliver fingering weight shawl. You'd think I'd be done with it. I love it, I really do. I'm kind of trying to get my Alder finished for pictures next week, so this is taking a bit of a back seat, but as soon as my Alder's done, I'm going to start like getting this finished so that I can take pictures and do the test call and things, but also just so that I have it because it's so cool. My mum has asked for this, so she might get it, but also I don't really wear shawls enough to justify it being mine, but I love it. So yeah, I've just done this. I've measured out the weight of every stripe so far, so the good news is that if someone wants, so far I'm on like stripe 19 I think, or 20, and nothing is used more than 5 grams, so really good for scraps. And again, like you could just fade the whole thing like with this. This is the way you could do it with minis. I'm also going to write it up for up to 24 colours, but you could extend it very easily. Like if you wanted it to be bigger shawl, you could. And I think with the one that I do for Advent, I think I'll just keep going eternally. So yeah, so that's how it's looking. And unfortunately it's not, you can't really see how big it is. But it like wraps quite nicely, probably to like, it wraps fully but like not with enough comfort yet. So it's still got a lot of ways to go until it gets to there, but I think I'm going to be adding another like 20 centimetres, no like 25 to the length, before I've even done the border. and I think the border would be another that much, the technical term. So yeah, hopefully next time I'll have the tester call for this one, and I don't know, I've never done a shawl test call, but it should be fun. I think I'm looking for the shawl test call mostly for variety, and less for like the only tricky thing will be this is the garter tab cast on, and that's literally it. The rest of it's just so easy to follow. But it'd be cool to see what colours, be able to do 2 colours or a couple of colours, or like fade through minis. I am intrigued. So yeah, that's the shawl and the cardigan. Yay! Oh, I pulled this, no, not actually, I thought I pulled this off the stitches again. And these will both be, oh, the yarn is Mendip 4-ply from Merino Skua. Beautiful yarn, really impressed with it. It's relatively rustic. I think if you're like a merino superwash fan, like this is probably not for you, but if you like any form of rustic anything, there's like, it's not prickly at all on my neck, and I'm relatively heat sensitive. I think if I was to get like hot and sweaty, then potentially I wouldn't love having this here, but like right now it's lovely actually, it's really nice. And I think my mum, who doesn't really wear rustic things, I think would wear it quite comfortably. So that's the Daft Days cardigan and shawl. If you're interested, this will be down below, and the shawl will hopefully come next time. Fingers crossed. I am wrapping up the admin behind the Advent swap, and it has taken so much more time than I thought it would. Absolutely obscene amounts of time. It probably takes me about an hour to match up 50 people, and there were 750 applicants. So it's just taking me so long to get through it all. So what I had allocated this week for pattern writing time, I am having to spend on like admin for this scrappy swap, which is lovely. I'm so excited. It's fun work to do. It's just a lot of it. Like you think you've made progress and you've only matched up like 10 people, and you're like, oh, that's been 15 minutes of time. So that'll all be done by hopefully tomorrow. I mean, by the time the video comes out, it will definitely be done. When I'm recording, it's not yet done yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Okay, goodness, I've barely made a dent, and it's only 20 minutes in. So let's show my next. Okay, my next one is maybe my least exciting FO, but I don't know if that's true. I think I mentioned last time that once I realised it was going to be really hot weather for the Scottish Yarn Festival, I was trying to panic knit something that I could wear, because it was going to be too hot to wear most of the knitwear I had, and I didn't have anything in a dyer from the festival. And so I made a Tolsta t-shirt. So this is my Tolsta. I made this in also in Nervus Fiber, which is like the same as the yarn I'm wearing, and I made this one with like basically 0 ease, and I love it. I really, really like it. I wore it both days of the festival. It got a tiny bit sweaty on the first day, and I was like, oh, I hope these like self-cleaning properties of wool are true, because I needed them to be, and honestly they were. And it's lovely. It's really, really evenly dyed. I held 2 strands of fingering weight together in the colour Winterberry. I think I used about 150 grams. I have most of, like, well, I've got about half of, I split this, I had 2 skeins, and yeah. No, I didn't split the skein. I was going to say I split a skein into 2. I didn't, but I've got like nuggets left of both of them. I've not weighed them. I should weigh them. I made the neckline smaller. I cast on 8 fewer stitches in my size, worked the ribbing, and then like increased out those 8 stitches immediately after, and then followed the rest of the pattern absolutely to pattern. Oh, I mean, that's not true. That's a lie. I did not. I lengthened the ribbing as well. I did 10 rounds of ribbing, and I lengthened the sleeves. And I put 8 rounds of ribbing on the sleeves. Otherwise, it's to pattern. I just can't stop making these. I love the patterns so much. I have at least 2 more planned. I think I want to make one more for Rhinebeck, but the issue is I want to make one in Knitting for Olive silk, and I think that'd be perfect if it's like a hot day at Rhinebeck. It'd be nice to have a t-shirt version, but it's quite similar to this, and part of me, like, that's more tomato red, but part of me is like, oh, do you need 2 red Tolstas? But I think I do. I think that with a pair of black jeans and like my Converse, and I would feel super cool. So yeah, another one to add to the wardrobe. Like I say, I have so many of these. I love them. I just keep wearing them. I'm looking forward. It's not quite like skirt and boots season yet, like skirts, tights and boots, but I think when it will be, this will be super nice with like a black skirt and some black tights. I've got a black denim skirt, which I think this would be really nice with. And like I say, I wore it a weekend, super cozy. Not cozy. It was 25 degrees and I was in wool and I was fine. So yeah, a little speedy little Tolsta. I think it took me like 4 or 5 days, to be honest, like no knitting time at all. And it's yarn I've had in stash for a while, so it was quite nice to knit that up as well. The issue is that I just keep buying yarn for Tolstas because I'm like, oh, I only need 500 meters. I'll just make a Tolsta. I wear them, at least I do wear them quite a lot. Okay, my last finished object is very exciting. I still not posted this to my Instagram because it's been so hot that I've not had a chance to like wear this properly, and I keep telling myself I need to get a picture taken. So I was a preview knitter, I guess. I don't know really what it is, but I knit the Gallus scarf by Amy Palco. It came out on the Saturday of the Scottish Yarn Festival. And I will say ahead of time that mine is like wildly, I mean, I follow the pattern exactly, but I'm not remotely on gauge. So it's bigger and I use more yarn than the pattern calls for. So it is this super cool like trapezoid scarf. Here we go. Okay, let me just wrap it around myself and then this is how I get myself far too warm. Cozy. Okay, there we go. This is my Gallus scarf. It's so lovely. It's so nice. It's a really fun pattern. It has got these I-cord. Let me show you the right side, not the wrong side. I mean, doesn't make a difference really, but it has like an I-cord edging all the way around, which is super neat. And like really seamless between the colours. That's probably a bad example of it. There we go. There's a 2 colours switch. It has these, I guess if you've seen things like the Sweet Shop blanket from Laura Penrose, is that what it's called? Sweet Shop? Candy Shop? Anyway, her beautiful blanket. Or the Prism blanket from Pearl Soho, or the Half and Half Triangles wrap, like you've seen this. This is kind of an in thing at the minute with the short rows. And then you pick up a second colour and it's so fun. There's this one row where you like do everything at once and those rows were like, I don't know, I felt like I was I don't know, it was so exhilarating. Those rows, I was like, yes, I get one of those. And otherwise, it's just really easy knitting. There's a lot of knitting in this, but I didn't really feel like it. I set myself basically, once I knew when the festival was and I wanted to finish for the festival, I basically told myself to do like a block a week, and that was completely fine. With like a couple of rows a day, it felt like it just flew. So mine is 215 centimeters long. I think the pattern is slightly less than 2 meters, so a little bit, about 15 centimeters longer than pattern. And I think the pattern is 25 wide and mine is like 47 wide. No, it's not quite long of it. 43 wide. I can't remember. I don't have a tape measure. I usually have one like somewhere close by, and I do not today. So yeah, it's bigger than pattern and longer than pattern. I used, like I say, all the stitch counts in pattern, but I used Camarose Senfnug, which I've never used before, and it's beautiful. It's pretty pricey as far as, yeah, it's not like cashmere expensive, but it is quite expensive. I think you get the same effect with like Santa's Garn Cause or Drops Air, although I will say I've used Drops Air and this does have more heft to it than Drops Air does. It's a similar constructed yarn with the chain and the fibres blown through, and it's a relatively similar gauge. Oh, I found a little loop there. But yeah, it feels different in my opinion to Drops Air. Although I think you could get pretty similar results. Well, that's what I was going to say. I like that because mine has turned out so deep, I can it can come all the way around my shoulders. Almost like a shawl. Like I say, I'm not a big shawl wearer, but when it gets cold in the house, I quite like wearing something wrapped around me. And like, this is cool. And like, it will go all the way down to like my elbows and kind of like a... So yeah. I love it. The pattern is now live. It's a lovely way to, I think it'd be a really nice gift knit. It's also a really nice way to use up, so I've got like mohair right in my nose, or like the fluff from this right in my nose. It would be a really nice way to use up 5 individual skeins. I think that's what a lot of people at Knit Night did. They use like 5 hand-dyed skeins. which is beautiful. They're so nice and such a fun way to play with colour. I just get a bit nervous about colour. I'm not very good at colour. I like when people have pre-designed colour palettes for me, such as my adult rainbow. So I went really simple. I just did 2 colours, which I also love. My mum tried very hard to leave the Scottish Yarn Festival with this. Well, I'll just take this. I was like, no, you will not just take that. But yeah, so I'm glad that she liked it, but she's not getting it. So yeah, that's the Gallus. I think I can just about get all of it in if I fold it in half. You can kind of see all of it. Here we go. Ta-da! And yeah, it's Amy's first pattern, so if you've not, I think the hype is kind of past. Like everyone was talking about it 2 weekends ago. I'm a little bit late to the party, but if you've not checked it out so far, I'll put a link down below. And yeah, it's her first ever pattern, so worth going and showing some appreciation and adding it to your favourites or to your queue, and knitting one, because it's really fun to knit. I should put mine on Ravelry, I really should. I will try to, because I think it would be helpful if I could tell people how much yarn I use. But in order to do that, I'd have to know how much yarn I used, and I don't know that right now. I'm also currently living in denial that I don't know how expensive this scarf was, because I had to order yarn twice more because I ran out, and part of me quite likes not knowing. I did also order extra of the beige with the intention of making a hat. I thought that would look really nice. I've got a black winter coat, and I thought like a beige hat and my big scarf would look good, but it's not quite, I was going to say it's not quite hat knitting season. I've got a hat whip to show you, but yeah, it's not been cast on yet, and I think that would be really fast. I think I'll just do like a 2x2 rib something. I love the, that's not even 2x2. I was going to say I love the Pearl Soho ribbed hat, but that's not even 2x2, that's 1x1. But maybe I'll do that. Okay, what have we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 whips left. Okay, let's start with the one that's getting the most love and that you've seen before. This is my Alder sweater. The Alder pattern is coming out soon. It's coming out the first Friday of October. 7th, I think I want to say it is, but I could be completely making that up. I made an Alder already. I'll pop a picture of my first version, and this is my second sample. I like to knit 2 samples of things. It's actually something I probably should stop doing because it's quite a lot of time pressure to get a second one knit up. But there's, and also just, I'm gonna end up with more sweaters than I could ever reasonably wear. But I love it because the first one's like a first pass, and the second one that I knit it with the testers, and it means that usually I start a little bit into the test knit, so if they flagged any issues or something's not clear, I can like work over that section again with my sample, and it means that the instructions get like a proper second pass like in the moment, and I can really visualise like what, if there are any issues, what they are. Oh, I'm running out of battery storage space. Okay, we're back with more storage space. So this is my second sample. I knit this in, both samples are knit in Sonder yarn Sunday Morning DK. The first yarn I paid for, and the contrast colour I paid for, but they did gift me the main colour this time. I emailed them, I was like, hi, I would like to place another order, and they were like, is it for a design? And I said yes, so they said, we're sending you it. So they did, which was lovely. So this is my, oh, I've not actually seen this on camera yet. This is my second sample. Ooh, it looks tiny. Goodness me. It's a texture stitch pattern, so it really blocks out quite a lot, but yeah, it looks really small. So this one is more high contrast than my first one. My first one was like pink and red. This has got this real fun stitch pattern. I love the stitch pattern. It's really, really enjoyable to knit. And this is we've got an interesting raglan detail. Very terrible job of showing this. There you go, that's the raglan. I think it's quite cool. Super intuitive. I think once you like get going, I actually don't know which ways. I feel like that might be the back. I feel like that's probably the front. It'll be more visible once it's once it's blocked out. Oh, it looks so cool. It looks more cool than I thought it did. Which is always nice to see. So yeah, so the green grey is called Wildwood. I actually got whole cakes of these. This is called Wildwood, and yeah, it's like a greeny grey. It's beautiful. It's a really interesting colour. It's getting blown out actually. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Like it's like the same sort of shade as my wall, but it's the greener shade, if that makes sense. Like this is blue and that's more green. And then Cloud 9, which is white, like off-white. Yeah, so there we go. So that's my second sample. I'm on the body ribbing. We're taking the pictures in just over a week. So I have to knit 2 sleeves in a week, which I will be fine to do. That's totally fine. And that's my only big deadline at the minute, which is that even true? Yeah, everything else is still a bit further away. So yeah, I need to get going on it. The body knit up way faster than I thought it would actually. It's one of those stitches that because there's some slipping and some like whatever, it feels like it's going pretty slowly. But actually, I found that like a pattern repeat for me was about 1 centimetre, so the body is only like 27 pattern repeats, which is a lot of rows, but I don't know, it went quite quickly once I got going. And I remember the sleeves, so the first one went really quickly. So I'm looking forward to working those sleeves. I've just remembered as I'm saying this that there's an interesting sleeve decrease that I forgot all about. So I'm looking forward to working those decreases again. And I love the fit of my first one. So I'm looking forward to see how the second one fits. And it's quite a different colour to my colour palettes. I usually stick with like warms, like browns and reds and things like that. So I'm moving more into like a cooler palette for this one, which should be quite cool. And yeah, next episode this pattern will be live, is that right? What's the date today? Yeah, the 6th of October this will go live. That'll be like the next in 2 weeks time. Oh my goodness. I'm not ready. I told myself. I'm going on Saturday. Well, I'm going today. It's Thursday today. I'm going to my parents to dog sit for the weekend. And I told myself on Saturday I was going to do like a little bit of admin and then just have a fun day knitting, because I feel like I've just been doing so much admin right now. And I just realised I've got a pattern coming out in 2 weeks and a test knit to do, so I will definitely not be speaking a little bit of admin. It'll be admin heavy Saturday, but that's okay. This is what I love to do, so it's good. It's just daunting, but once I get going I'll be fine. So that's the Alder. Next episode it'll be out. Someone in the test knit is doing a stripy version and it looks so good. I'll put a picture of their version here so you can see it, and it's making me desperately want to make a third, but I think I need to just like be a little bit patient and wait. I don't think making 3 back to back is a good idea. I always want to revisit my patterns. I wanted to knit another Dorney this year, which is my cable knit from last year in green. I've not done it. Maybe I get a test knitter, maybe I get a sample knitter to do it. Maybe that's the way to go. That's such a good idea, Rebecca. Well done. Well done, Rebecca. That's a good idea. I forget that I don't have to make myself stressed and I could just pay someone to do it who, yeah. If you're interested in sample knitting the cable knit sweater, drop me an email at the email listed below. You'll get paid. Just so you're aware. Okay, gosh, this is how you know I've been staring at a computer screen all day, is that my words have just demolished into nothing. Where should we go next? What have I shown? Okay, let me show another thing and then everything else is new. So the other thing to show, I mean this is also a new cast on but not an entirely new project. My other one of my test knits currently in progress is the Stick Season sweater. I'll put a picture of the Stick Season sweater here. I adore this pattern. I love all of them, like they're all my babies, but this one I just, oh, it turned out so good and I'm super excited. This is a collaboration with Ali from Explorer Knits, or Explorer Knits and Fibers, who dyes up amazing yarn inspired by places all over the world for the most part, and we are both massive fans of Noah Kahan, or if you're American, Noah Kahan, which I find really hard to say, but that's how he says it, so I probably should say it that way, who is a sort of like indie folk music artist who's from Vermont in New England? It is New England. I keep worrying that I'm going to call it New England and it's not New England because I called somewhere else New England and it wasn't, but Vermont definitely is. And yeah, I just love his music. I have for a while now. And Ali said, hey, if you ever want to design a sweater inspired by Noah Kahan, let me know. And then immediately I was like, I have to. And so the Stick Season sweater was born. And so I'm working at my second sample and I got it cast on primarily because my second sample is going to be for my stepdad. he is overdue a knit. My mum and my stepbrother did my pictures for the Lanark, and I think my stepdad did a little bit put out that he wasn't one of my models. So he's getting his time to shine. And I really wanted this one to be a more like unisex pattern, similar to the Lanark, and so it's nice if I think all my none of my patterns have any shaping in them, so most of them are pretty like friendly for all genders. But I did want to show in the pictures for this one a guy wearing it, because I think it'll just show the versatility of the pattern. All that to say, I'm knitting a size 6 for my stepdad, and it's a reasonable bit bigger than my sample, and I just didn't want to get caught out and have loads still to work on. And also, once I get the yoke done, it's literally almost all just knitting in the round, and that's really easy to make progress on. And I thought, if I can just get this yoke done, that's fine. So I took it with me to London, and I've got the back panel done, and it looks so cool. This colour is linen. It's like a stony grey, quite a warm grey, and it's not been blocked. It's just literally the back panel, so my neck's gonna be to pick up the shoulders. And because it's not blocked, you can't really see the details here, but there's like a little, scratch out, you can see it. There's a rib detail in there. And yeah, so that's the back. So I need to pick up the shoulders, join the front, and then what I really would like is we're going out to pet set this weekend. I would like to at least have the body done, like the yoke done, and potentially the collar, but like that's a stretch, because we'll be seeing my stepdad on Sunday, and if I can get this done, I mean I'll see him tomorrow, but I won't have it done by then, but he'll be at the house on Sunday, they'll come back on Sunday, and hopefully I can get to try it on and check the yoke depth. I knit something for him once before and it did not fit, and it's still in my wardrobe with intentions of fixing it, and I've never fixed it, so I need to get going with this one, because otherwise it's just a bit embarrassing. And in fact, at this point with the other one, I should just steek it and wear it myself, because I don't think I'm going to fix it for him. But yeah, so stick season. I've got quite a lot of this. We're pretty much ready to go. As per usual, I had all my knitting prepared and packed before my clothes are knitting and packed, because that's how knitters operate. So pretty much ready to go with this one. So that is my second whip. Oh no, it's not even. Where are we at? 4th whip? 10th whip? This pattern is going to come out early November. I am having to stop myself casting on 10 of them. I really would like to make one in, I've just remembered yarn acquisition that I've not brought through. I'll tell you about it anyway. I bought some pickle green yarn. I'm so obsessed with pickle green right now, like that really bright, like this green, this really vibrant, like yellowy green. And it's not quite this, it's a little bit warmer than that. But I bought some mohair and some alpaca, which is like my favourite combination at the moment, and I'm going to make a stick season without the sticks, without the texture, with just the shaping detail over the shoulder. But I'm not allowed to do it until I get my sample. That was the thing, I really wanted to cast it on, and I told myself, like, you've got a sample to knit the sample first and then you can do that one. So let's go from stick season to stick season. With my first sample, it's knit in the colour Daybreak, and I had skein. I just used into the final skein of yarn. That's not even true. I think I had 6 skeins and I just cracked into the 5th skein, so I had a full skein left. And I had this idea a little while ago and then didn't do anything about it. And now I'm thinking about it again. And then when I first shared about stick season, one of the viewers commented, it was just after the really bad flooding that happened in Vermont, and they said, listen, would you consider like part of the proceeds of the pattern going to the recovery fund after the flood? And I thought, okay, I need to do something. What will I do? So I decided to have a companion pattern to the stick season, which is the stick season hat. So it will come out at the same time. I'm not really a big hat knitter, so it's quite fun to do. I'm also just realising as I put this on that potentially it's is it a little bit small? Probably. This is probably the smallest size, and my head is probably not the smallest size. That's not too bad. Oh no, it's okay. Just need to like line up my ribbing better. So let me just take it off and show you because that is significantly easier for everyone involved. It's a hat, it's got this big deep 2x2 rib cuff, and then I've only just started so you can't really see it, but it goes into the texture which the stick season sweater has. You really can't see it. And then it's going to have some of the shaping that kind of mirrors the sweater. I'm not sure if it's going to work yet. We're trying and seeing how it will be. It'll just come out at the same time the sweater comes out. So, and then all proceeds from the hat pattern will go to the fund. I don't actually know what the official name is, so I'm not going to go talking. I'm not going to say like, oh, it goes to the Vermont Flood Relief, because I don't remember what the official fund name is. And I think what I'll do is work out a way in which you could get the sweater and the hat together for a discounted price, but the full price of the hat will go. So say it was like £8 for both and the hat costs normally £2, then you could get the... Am I making any sense? I don't know. You'll be able to get a discounted hat. You're going to get the pattern and the hat at a discount, but the discount will not be applied to the discount will just, the full price of the hat will go to the fund. I don't know if that makes any sense. I've not worked on this in a while. I just cast it on last week actually, and it was really fun. I went to an in-person day at work. I work primarily remotely, although my company has an office here, so sometimes I go to the office. And it was our second in-person day since I started, and so I took this to knit on and knitted through meetings, and it was the first time I've done that. Like obviously when I'm working remotely I usually do, but it's not something I'm really vocal about because I never know how people will react, and everyone was fascinated. So I just sat, I did this like big deep rib cuff through a work meeting, and they were like, oh my god, that's amazing, how's the hat, how's the hat, we make progress. So that was really fun. I also made some stitch markers to take to the Scottish Yarn Festival just to give away to people who came to see me, and they were so much fun to make. So I have one left here. I've got a little leaf. It's so cute. So I'm going to make some more of these for Rhinebeck and just like hand them out like sparkles. You get one. 4 for you, Glen Coco. So yeah, that's the stick season hat. It's it feels weird because I've not touched it in like a week, so I feel kind of weird talking about it because I can't really remember where I got to. And the more I see it, I think I need to do a bit more work on it, but I'm not entirely convinced that the system I'm currently using is going to give me the definition that I want to do, so I might go back and change what I was doing a little bit. But also that's fine, like if I do that, that's okay. That's okay, that's fine. And I've only done like about an inch of the texture, so I think it would be absolutely, actually it looks pretty good. I can't work out if I want to keep the texture or if I want to just, like I want to keep the detail, or if I want to just do texture all over. That could be fun too. Think about it. And I put this in my little mushroom bag from, I am running out of project bags because I've got so many whips right now. My little mushrooms. This is from Lysander and Olive, who are on Etsy, and I think they've closed down now, but the bag is very cute. Okay. Only 3 more. And then all my acquisitions. Okay, let me go into, okay, the easiest one is we went to the cinema, we went to London for the weekend, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have to work on Monday. We were meant to go and do like a client visit, but they were not confirmed, they didn't confirm it until late, and I had to book the train because we were in London, so I had to decide when we were coming home. And I said to work, if they don't confirm, I'm going to take the day off and we'll just meet, Sam and I will just spend the day in London. And that's what happened, they didn't confirm. So we spent the day in London, which was lovely. Oh, sorry, I thought I lost a needle. And I just realised what happened to it. Or I thought I'd found one, but I realised that I've taken it off one side. So, I have wanted to do this since I think I saw the pattern, well since I started, like for ages basically, since I started knitting the Leith. I'm making a Leith cardigan, which is my own pattern, without the intarsia. I love the fit of that cardigan. I've got 3 already and I love them, and I really want like a cozy soft grey drop shoulder cardigan, and that's exactly what I'm making. So I took this with me. I'm using my favourite combination, which is, or one of my favourite combinations if I'm going to do mohair, which is Drops Alpaca, which is super drapey, and Sandnes Garn Tin Silk mohair, which is their mohair that contains 15% wool. And there's something about that mohair that adds quite a lot of structure, which together with the drapey alpaca, I think is lovely. Like it's drapey, but cozy. And I have my most worn sweater of all time is in that combination, and I've not made anything in it since, so I told myself I had to make something in it. So we went to see, there's a cinema in London called the Prince Charles Cinema, and it is like a independently run cinema where they show a lot of like older movies or things that aren't currently being screened, and they do sing-alongs and they do all-night movie marathons and back-to-backs and like, yeah, double features and stuff, and it's really lovely and we miss it a lot. There is an independent cinema in Edinburgh. It's not as good as a Charlie. So when we had the Monday, we decided to go to this, we were like, well, we have to go to see Charlie, so we went to see Interstellar, and I took to London with me my Stick Season, the back panel, and my Alder sweater, but I knew we had 3 hours in the cinema, and I cannot go to the cinema without my knitting, and I had nothing cast on that was like good to go. So I took just these two, pretty dinky, 25 grams of mohair and like a 50 gram of alpaca, and I got started on my Leith cardigan. So I've changed a little bit, or like, oh no, I've just noticed there's somewhere where I've purled, I've got a purl bump in the middle of my ribbing. I'll just pop a marker on there and hopefully I can ladder down and find it the next time when I pick this back up again. Yeah, this is the danger. I actually inspected it all because I thought there might be parts where I dropped mohair, and that has not happened, but I did get my knits and pearls wrong in one place. Fortunately, that's an easy fix. Yeah, just the one. Well, so I've done this big chunky 2x2 ribbing on the bottom, which I just think is cozy. I think something about 2x2 ribbing is just cozy. And I need to decide, so yeah, I'm going to knit the whole completely to pattern. I have to decide what to do about the neckline. So I could do a double knit like neckband like the pattern has, or I might do a 2x2 chunky rib neckline. These are all the rage right now. Petite Knit brought out the Ava cardigan, which has got that chunky rib. Ozetta then like 4 days later brought one out in chunky as well, and I just really like how it looks, and I know this pattern fits me really nicely. I already have this pattern, so like why would I buy another designer's pattern if I've got one myself that works? So I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh no, I found another one. Geez, did anyone ever hear me talk about how easy it is to knit in the cinema? Clearly don't listen to me, because I have done a bad job of it this time. I'm annoyed at myself. I'm usually pretty good actually. Oh well. So yeah, my plan was just to knit this when we go to the cinema. Like I thought I'll just save this for cinema knitting. But I'll see how I'm getting on. Like I don't need to work it right now because I've got so many other whips and there's no urgency on this one. I kind of like that idea though. Like I like the idea of having a whip that I only worked on at the cinema. And honestly, I think with the exception of maybe picking up for the ribbing on the band, and like a little bit of the details, like where you cast off at the shoulders and stuff, I'd want to do that, but I could do the whole body, the back panels, the front panels, like, and the sleeves, and I could do that all without needing to like be there. So as long as I did things like I picked up the sleeves before the cinema, I could knit the sleeves there. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know, it'll probably take me quite a long while to do that, but this was a 3-hour movie and I think I got 7 centimetres, so I got pretty far. And I know how this will be so wearable. Like I just know I'm going to get so much wear out of this one. Especially as it gets into like colder weather, so maybe I should just start knitting on this all the time so that I can wear it. I have no issue with purling, but for some reason like I'm mentally against it. Like I actually don't mind it at all, but I need to be distracted when I'm purling, and if I'm distracted then I'm fine. And I find with the cinema I'm distracted and I don't mind purling at all, so I like to take things that are worked flat to the cinema because then I get lots of progress on them. So yeah, a Leith cardigan, kind of like a Leith cardigan without any intarsia and with same gauge, no intarsia, and potentially a different knitting band there. I think I'll wait and see how I'm feeling at the end. If I'm feeling like I'm up for doing 2x2, if I'm up for doing a knitted double knit band, then I'll just do it. But if I'm not really up for it, I might just do a double knit band. Oh, I was going to say something I should have done, which I did not do, and I'm kind of annoyed at myself, is I didn't do an edge stitch on the ribbing, which means that it starts on one end with 2x2 and on the other end with, like, it starts with 2 knits and it ends with 2 purls. And if I pick up stitches or if I seam on the band, I'm going to like eat into that rib. And so what I should have done is I should have put an edge stitch, and then it would have been symmetrical. And I only realised this after the fact, so it was a bit stupid of me, but it's not the end of the world. It's a cosy cardigan I'm going to wear at home. But if you're considering modifying it to be 2x2 rib, add an edge stitch, and then do like a knit stitch at the start and end of the row, and then do your knits and purls, and then yeah, otherwise you're going to set off the 2x2, which is annoying, but I don't care enough to rip it out. So okay, 2 more whips, but this is the last like kind of serious one. The other one's very fun. This is another design, and I had so much more of this knit and then I ripped out most of it, but that was a good thing. It's a brand new to me construction. It is a contiguous construction, I believe. I'm saying that without much confidence because I'm not that confident, but I think it's contiguous. Basically you work back and forth and then you join in the round, and it's not, I've done one before in the ziggurat method. It's not that. That is like you do break your yarn quite a lot, and like you start here and you work a little bit and then you work here and da-da-da. It's not that way. It's different. That's all I'm going to say because I don't really know how else to describe it. I'm using beautiful yarn. This is Lore by the Fiber Company. I think it's called Steady, but honestly every time I talk about this yarn I forget the colour names and then I make up something ridiculous and it's not remotely relevant. It's it's really showing off the red flecks. It's mostly green. A really like rich, warm, like earthy green. And this is what I have so far, and like I say, I had so much more. I had the whole, like most of the yoke done, and then I ripped it out because I wasn't super pleased with the fit. So this is what's really cool about it. This is how it works. So this is almost like a saddle, and then this becomes the shoulder. So like right now it's just a saddle and it'll just sit here, like along here, and then I'll start increasing this out, and then this will become a shoulder line. So it's really fun construction. I had to play with the numbers quite a lot to make it work. I thought I had it and then I decided I didn't have it and I ripped it out. And I also had some puckering along my increasing, which I think I've gotten it down to a stage where like it's still a little bit of puckering along here. But it will block out quite comfortably. So this is basically just a collar at this stage. But it will, yeah, we'll get much more of it. Again, I've not worked on this because I'm trying to finish my Alder and I'm trying to be good. I'm desperate to work on this. And so this, I get a little preview, it's going to be colour work. The colour work's going to start like here. So I'm going to get it all joined in the round, and then here, still in the yoke, so still in the yoke and across the sleeves, you're going to start colour work, and the colour work's going to go all the way to the body and down the sleeves and then stop like here and like midway through the body. I am excited. I have the first colour work chart ready. I don't have the rest of them ready. Because I can't make up my mind really. So yeah, I just really want to get to the colour work part. I'm so excited for it. And I'm like dreaming of the sweater. But once I get my Alder sleeves done, like next week, I can focus on this more. And I'll have more to show for next time hopefully. Because this is a little bit piddly, it's a bit sad. But it's so fun. I really enjoyed it. Like it was really nice to sit down and like work out like the maths of it a little bit and work out the ratios. And I think I knew the first time that I wasn't super happy with the numbers, but I kept going, and then I tried it on and I was like, oh, I should have listened to my gut because this was not quite right. But this time it's looking good. It's looking real good. So yeah, it's got a nice chunky collar and quite an open neckline, like quite a wide neckline, so you get quite a lot of space for a good collar, and it's gonna have colour work, and I'm so excited for the colour work part. It's not been that long. I have a secret test knit right now happening, which is colour work. So it's not been that long since I did colour work. And I have another design for a magazine that the yarn arrived for today, which is also colour work. So it's not been that long, but I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to be knitting like, I don't know, you know when you just like see it emerging in the pattern? I'm excited for that. So yeah, not much to show as of right now, and there won't be much for another week. And then I will allow myself I'll permit myself to do it. I'm currently doubling up this bag, which has got my petite knit big bag has currently got that colour work to be project in it with my Leith cardigan, because I don't have enough project bags. Because I've got so many projects right now. I mean I do have them, but like not my favourite ones. Okay, One last whip. Jesus, this is gonna be a long episode, I'm sorry. Okay, last one is that I went to Beautiful Knitters when I was in London. It is my favourite yarn shop in London. I love it. If you're going to London and you only have time for one, that should be the one you go to. Loop is lovely. It's a lot of American yarn, which you can't really get in the UK, so that's really exciting. But the people in Beautiful Knitters are so nice, so kind, and yeah, I love it. So, would recommend. So I went with, like, of course, I wasn't planning to buy anything. We all know how that goes. And then I saw this yarn and I had to buy some. This is Fonty Angora. And you can see, like, I don't even need to show you the halo, you can see how fluffy it is. It's 80% French Angora and 20% wool. And it's 25 grams with 108 meters. And I got 3 of these. And I'll give you 10 guesses. No, I'll give you 2 guesses at what it's going to be. What do you think I would make with 324 meters of this? If you said a Sophie scarf, you'd be right. Firstly, look at this bag. It's Elizabeth Scarlett who make like makeup bags, but I think they're small size, or it's called an everyday pouch. I have 3 of them. I use them quite a lot, and I got a new one this week because I was ordering a gift for somebody and decided to order one for myself. And I love the colour combination. I think like these two, like this rich, the navy and then this rich orange are perfect. So I've already made pretty good progress. This is what's left of my first one, and that's what I've got. So cute. So we travelled back on Monday and we got like a late train because again I wasn't sure if I'd be working, so I got on the train at 7, we got home at like 11, not even like 12 p.m. and I was that way where I just had to sleep, but I was too like hyped up and I wanted like some like calming time before bed, and I wanted a calming knit to work on and I didn't have one, so I cast that on. I think my battery is going to run out. That's how I know I've been talking for too long. Okay, new battery, all the space in the card, less energy left in the tank. The next thing to give up will be me, so let's hope we get through this with relative pace. We don't want to speed through it, we want to get through it. So I got home on a Sunday, needed to just to decompress my brain a little bit, and I knew I had this yarn ready, and I also didn't want to wait too long because then it gets like, you're like, oh, I'll make a Sophie scarf, and then it's been 6 months and you've not cast it on. So I cast it on and it's lovely, it's so nice, I'm really loving it. I knitting up like crazy speed. I mean, it's not that, it's only 100 meters per thing, so to say that I've made this progress since Monday feels like a lot, but it's not really, because what is that, like 3 days? Not even 100 meters yet, like 25 meters a day, it's fine, it's nothing. But yeah, it's just really nice, it's been so lovely, it's so light and drapey. It's obviously incredibly fluffy, and I think the colour is absolutely to die for. There is currently a, oh, that hiccup again. There's currently a cal going on. 1, 2, did I make a new stitch there? Good did. Yeah. There's currently a cal going on by, I think it's High Fibre Knit, but it might be someone else, called the Tomato Soup Core, which is basically like knitting things the colour of tomato soup. And this is like roasted tomato soup. This is perfect. This is what they look like after they've gone like blistering hot in the oven. This is the most tomato soup colour I've ever worked with, ever. It's just perfect. So I love it. I'm so excited for it to be done. I'm so excited to wear this. The other colours they've got in stock are not great. Like, I don't love them. There's a grey that's quite nice, but like this is just the shining star of their colour palette. I do find this pattern tricky to keep track of increases, and so the way I do it is just use 2 stitch markers, and I basically just like play chase. So like I've just put one in, and then I'll be able to count from here for the next 6 rows, and then I'll move the next one up, and then move the next one up, and move the next one up. The other way is to count with the I-cord. I find garter really hard to count in, but I can also just count with the I-cord edging, and it's just, because you're slipping, it's just 3 I-cord loops. But I just find that, I find with a stitch marker it just makes an easier knitting process. So yeah, I have no idea how long we'll get this. Like I say, I've got this much. I will knit the second one until we're halfway, and then I'll start decreasing, and that's easy peasy. It's a reminder that I'm taking this weekend and I should pack the scale, otherwise I might not get to halfway. But yeah, it's beautiful, it's fun, it's just all I want to knit on, to be honest. Like it's like a little holiday from everything, just getting to knit on this one. And like I got a new project bag and I've got a new yarn and like, oh yeah, so I'm really loving that. So those are all my whips, I think. I think that's them all. I'm looking around me just to check, but I think that's everything. What's this one? Oh no, it's fine. I moved them to my right when I was done and I forgot one of them and I suddenly panicked, but no, that's them all. So yes, as you can tell, I've got a lot going on with my needles right now. I am trying not to cast on new things, but I want to cast on all the new things. And I will be casting on something new because I got some yarn through for a design. So I'm not doing a very good job of that, but that's okay. Once my Alder, I'm actually pretty ahead of the game. Alder needs to be done by next weekend, so that's a little bit tight. But otherwise, my 6 season sample doesn't need to be done until like after Rhinebeck, which is kind of a scary thought, but quite cool. And honestly, my next, like I've obviously got this is coming out for December because it's an Advent pattern. Everything after that like is up to me really, apart from the magazine submission. So if my colourwork sweater is not going, like it's due for January, but if it's not taking shape as fast as I'd like it to or need it to for January, then I can just push it back and we just won't have a release in January, and that's completely fine. I have to remind myself that these things are okay and that I don't have to like, I get the benefits of the fact that I do all my, like I don't do it all myself. That's silly. I work with an amazing tech editor and test editors. I don't do it all myself, but I'm on my own timeline, that's what I mean. No one is pushing me for things, and so if I need to take more time over a pattern, that is completely okay. And it might give everyone a chance to catch up because I'm just turning them out right now. So I have some acquisitions. You've seen the first thing, it was the Fondy. I've got a little bit more. I realised I forgot that pickle coloured yarn, but I think everyone will forgive me and I will show it next time. So I've got 4 things to show, pretty much. The first thing was a gift. It was my birthday since the last episode. I think my last one came out, yeah, was it that long ago? Right before my birthday? Or I had one since. I think I had one since, but I got this as a gift from Amy Palco and I don't think I'd seen her anyway since the last episode. I sent her this yarn on Instagram when I saw that Beautiful Knitters were stocking it, and then she went to London and she got me some. But our local LYS Ginger Twist is stocking it now too. So I have 4 skeins of this. It's called Pio Pardo, and it is like a barber pole, like hand spin vibe, and it's so cute. It's beautiful. I love the colours. And I already know, I know when I want to make this, but it's not something that I'll be working on anytime soon. So my plan is just to keep this for now and maybe just be swatching if the need arises. But like literally, yeah, it's not going to be, it's something that would come out next year, like the end of next year, like 12 plus months from now. So I'm not in a massive rush for it, but I do want to cast on. It's sport weight, so 50 grams is 165 meters, and it's lovely. I really like this. Talking about hand spinning, I have been down to 2 spin days at Sealy McWheely, which is a spinning shop. It's a yarn shop. They have a lot of yarn, but they also have a lot of spinning things. It's over in Kirkintilloch, and it's quite far from me. It's about 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back. In fact, it might even be more than that if I count like door to door. So it's a bit of a hefty trip. But I've been really enjoying practicing some spinning, and I found out that my local Spinners Guild has wheel hire. So I am going to hire a spinning wheel. I don't know how much I'll talk about it, don't know how much I'll share. I've got some fibre that I bought, but I'm not going to, I'll wait until I've spun it into something to show you. I don't really think I've got the space in the house to be like to do a lot of spinning. But I like the idea of maybe hiring it for a few months. It's not very expensive, it's about £10 a month, plus a deposit. So I could do that for a little while and see if I'm doing it often, if I'm enjoying it, and if I am, it might be something in my future. I think we need a bigger house if I'm going to become a spinner. But yeah, that's something I might talk about in future. But until then, fortunately, there are some really cool like faux hand spun yarns out there, which is really nice. And this is a much sweeter price point than Spin Cycle, so if people are out there interested in trying yarns that look like this but don't want to spend Spin Cycle money, there are quite a few brands now coming out with alternatives, but this is a really great one. So 2 of those. Then we went to North Berwick, which is just down the coast, and we went for a day trip to the Isle of May, and it was lovely. It was such a nice day. And there is a yarn shop in North Berwick called Chandler's, and they had yarn. It's a yarn shop, like it's not a huge selection, but they had some really nice hand-dyed yarn. And then they had this yarn, and I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna have to drop them a message to find out. It's incredibly soft. I've done a bit of swatching with it. It's this. It's stunning. It's so soft. It's called Luna, and they have this for sale online, but they don't have the specs online, and it's got like a little prickle, but it's so soft. And I have 6 skeins of it. So I bought a bag. However, again, these don't have the labels on them, and I've lost the one single label. I don't think I realised the rest didn't have labels, so I just took this off and skeined it up and didn't think about the label of it. It's natural, so it's got no dye on it, and it's kind of like a grey colour. And I was torn about using this for the leaf instead of the other one, but I had a design in mind for this, and then I swatched for it, and I've decided I'm not doing that design. I had something in mind with caliper cables. They are so much work. You have to do something every row, and they take forever to knit up, and I was just like, no, if I'm struggling to finish the swatch, then people will struggle to finish the sweater. And I didn't love it enough to put the labour in, so that one is ditched. But I think like the mental picture of it I could create with something else, so this might be the yarn that does that. I got an extra skein, like 6 skeins is a lot, so I got an extra one because I wanted to do texture, and I think it would show texture up really well. So it'll just be parked for now, but maybe I'll do some swatching again soon, and if not, this might be a 6 season without the sticks at some point too, because I think it would just be so wearable. And then my last thing, I went to Scottish Yarn Festival. So the one thing first to show you, 2 things in here. The first thing is this skein of hand-dyed Suri, from Zakami. It's beautiful. It's the colourway Gold That Grows, and my original plan was a Tolsta, but I realised that like I'm not gonna be able to. My issue with the Tolsta before was that once I got joined in the round with the body, it pulled really badly and I didn't like it, and I'd struggle to do anything about that with this because I can't alternate skeins because I only have one. So I think I'll make another Sophie scarf, and I got to hold with that some of my favourite Camarose 4-ply. So I think that would make a really lovely Sophie scarf that might be a gift for someone for Christmas. I think it'd be so fun to knit up, and it would be incredibly soft because this softens up a lot. I'll get back to the Camarose 4-ply in a second actually. And then I also got a sock set, which I never do, but it was so fun. Look at it. I saw this one knitted up, and I absolutely loved the finished thing, and I just thought it was so cute. And this is from Bubble and Badger yarn. They had some really, really beautiful colours. A lot of these like bright pastels and sort of, really nice. And they had quite a lot of office inspired colourways. They had a tweed called Kevin's Chili, and like the tweedy bits looked like chili. Oh, it was so good. And they had one, they have Street Michael or something. Anyway, they had some really funny ones, so I bought this one despite not knitting socks really, but I figured a little like this I could make shorty socks, and even I, who don't knit socks very often, could maybe do that one. We'll see. It's not wound up yet, so who knows. And then the last thing I got, so I went to the Wee County Yarns stall. Wee County Yarns stock Camarose 4-ply, like the primary stockists have, like, they order it, so they're like, it's their yarn. And if you've been here for any length of time, I love Camarose 4-ply so much. So I went on the Saturday and picked up 2 skeins of green, because I gifted 2 skeins of my stash green, which I'm currently using in the half and half triangles wrap, to Ali of Explorer Knits, because I didn't think she would get any when she was here, and I was like, you have to have this yarn, it's amazing. And I knew I was going to SYF and thought, I'll give you 2 of mine and then I'll buy my replacement. So I did that. And then on the Sunday I went back. and got there with this like arm of yarn, and she was like, I can't let you pay for this. And I was like, what? No, of course you can. And she was like, no, the number of people that have come to buy this yarn because you talked about it, like, she's like, honestly, like every second purchase someone's like, oh yeah, I heard Rebecca talking about it. So I'm not really one for like accepting free stuff unless I know, I don't know, like I've taken some bags and stuff in the past, but unless I really know that like this is yarn, this is like my ride or die yarn, and this is my ride or die yarn. So this was not paid for, 2 full skeins and a mini skein, and I also have a box to show you. So this will become, I think, a Sophie. I got a cute little bag with it. And I begged for a DK weight version. I said to her like, please, 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 please. And I think there's some issues at the mill about getting DK weight version, but hopefully one day she'll make a DK weight one, because I said as soon as you do it I will design like anything you want, because I love the yarn so much. I wanted to make a fade version of the shawl, the Daft Days shawl, and my mum was there with me and I asked my mum to help me put together a fade kit, and I think she did a pretty good job. This is like the knitter's equivalent of like a box of chocolates. Ta-da! So these are the mini balls from, these are in JC Rennie, so this is not Kinross Reply. If you've ever been to a festival where they stock this, they have these little buckets on a wall, and all the buckets have got a swatch wrapped around them, and then they have the colours in them. So I'm just super impressed. I'm just like super impressed. I love these colours. I think I might order a couple more and go into the browns a bit more, because I saw they had a sample in the browns, and maybe like there's a purple which I'm not sold on. So I might just like reevaluate a couple of the brighter colours and might go more into the browns, and then might use the minis for an advent. So yeah, but I didn't pay for these either, so a very big thank you to them for that. I do love their yarn, so like it wasn't like unjustified. But if I'd known they were going to do that, I wouldn't have gone with like an arm full of things. I would have just like got one skein and then bought the rest myself. So that was really lovely actually. It was very nice, and yeah, it's amazing yarn. It softens up so nicely, and yeah, I totally recommend it. So yeah, if you're visiting Edinburgh, it gets stocked by Be Inspired Fibers. Yeah. Be Inspired Fibers over in Marchmont, they stock it. It's not online, but they have it in store, and I think you can order directly from Weekend Yarns anyway. Okay, I have been talking for so long. I think that's about all I've got to say. Testnet call is below if you want to take part in the testnet. And otherwise, I'll be back in 2 weeks with a pattern release. Oh my goodness. And life has been busy. We went to London last weekend and it was lovely. Lived in London for 3 years, and it's always nice to go back and just do the things we normally do. We went for loads of vegan food, loads of coffee, wandered around. Yeah, it was perfect. We went to a gig. Yeah, it was really nice. And what else did we do? We've got some kind of big news, but I'm not telling you about it yet because it's not fully confirmed. 2 things. One thing is knitting-ish. It doesn't really make a difference to anyone else, but it will to me, so I will share that one next time. And the other one is like kind of a big life update, but also not that big a life update. Like, I'm not pregnant, we're not moving, but we did something cool. So I'll share more about that next time. I'm very excited. But yeah, just waiting for it to be fully confirmed. I think it's mostly confirmed at this point, but until I've like grasped, yeah, I'll share it next time. And I think that's it. We're off for a quiet weekend watching the dogs at my parents' house, watching rugby on the TV, and doing lots of knitting admin. And yeah, I'll be back in a few weeks. Until then, happy knitting. I hope you enjoy what's on your needles. I hope you're enjoying the changeover in weather that's maybe creeping in where you are. Yeah.